I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Spy Family, Season 2, Episode 9. It's been a little bit for us since we watched Spy Family. Christmas break came up, and also we had a lot to record ahead of time. And unfortunately, we weren't able to watch this episode of Spy Family for a bit, but I am so excited. Last place we left off was Yor going to pull herself up by her own bootstraps and continue this fight, and I'm ready to see where it goes.
I am also ready to see where it goes. Episode title was amazing. I think it was like Symphony on the Ship or something like that. Having the fireworks at the same time as the fight. I loved it.
Let's go. You ready?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, that was Spy Family Season 2, Episode 9. Sorry if I cut you off there.
Totally okay. I was going to say that this was the best audio transition from end of episode into the outro.
That's fair.
Because the audio at the end of the episode was really just like soft and quiet. There was no voices. It was limited and it felt sentimental.
I'd extend that and say the audio all episode was phenomenal. I'd say that there were two tracks specifically that really stood out to me this episode that were phenomenal and unique, and I feel one of them for sure I had not heard this entire season. The other one I'm pretty sure we haven't heard. And then in the sound effects department, the subtleties in Yor's dagger, whatever you'd call it, thorn. Yeah. and it bouncing and then slightly falling into this dude.
Even the sound of when she ripped it out of the guy's butt.
Phenomenal.
A great sound effect. I loved it.
More than anything, don't get me wrong, I loved that. I loved the action sequence with Yor. But what this means going forward, or what it could mean, I'm so curious as to see what next episode's going to look like. Obviously, I imagine it's going to be family time, as we were told this episode, but with not just one of the parties here, both Lloyd and Yor here had thoughts and then reminders of family and what that would mean in terms of priority in regards to their life and their work and what act they are currently trying to hold. And I'm in between, one, that could mean that next episode there would be groundwork laid for there to be a moment that prioritizes genuine feelings that lay in the subconscious, or it could start out in a complete opposite end of reluctance and trying to not let yourself be as comfortable as you actually are with the rest of your family because of such a recent reminder of, oh, gotta keep your place,
And in terms of both Lloyd and Yor, both of them have amazing jobs for what they're trying to do for people. They're trying to protect people. Both of them, the origin story of them getting these jobs is because they wanted to protect a certain sort of life. They didn't want other kids to suffer the way they had, or they didn't want a specific kid to suffer at all, in Yor's case. And I think through what we've seen in this arc, both of them have had their own separate kind of queries or thoughts about this. Mainly, we've been seeing Yor's, and it's been about this wanting to have this family because it feels good, but then a reinforcement is happening through now again strongly caring about someone, meaning Anya and Lloyd, the way that she did for Yuri, and realizing she does a really great job at this job, and she can protect people, she can protect the way of life for her family, she can protect this person and her child. And at the line of the episode, the name of the episode, about something about the hand for the future.
Yeah.
Do you remember exactly what it was?
What I had written down was hand that connects to the future.
A hand that connects to the future. She can ensure somebody's future, and she kind of is having this reinforced for her that this is a good place for her to be because she's talented in this, and she should be doing this. And for Lloyd, he's kind of in a different, I would say, point in kind of thinking or progression in terms of thinking. He is not letting himself fully focus in the same way Yor did about what if I just gave the family thing a shot? Should I still be doing this? He's not, in that line of thinking that she was. But what happens at the end of the episode for him is still very, very
Yeah.
him, his character, but very important.
And rightly so, though, because the core of Lloyd's mission is dependent on the family aspect where yours isn't, right?
Right.
But I wonder if there is a hand that connects to yours future, or if there will be, or if Lloyd and Yor are the hands that connect to Anya's future. I wonder how that will be, I don't know, remembered and honored going forward in the circumstance that is yours future. Because I think that, granted, there are a lot of times in this show that I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for something to happen again. That's not the nature of the show. I know that and I remember that. But with such, I don't expect anything immediate crazy to happen. But down the line, I think that this is a moment that shouldn't be forgotten and won't be forgotten by characters, especially like Yor. I think that this will have meant something very strong to her.
Right. What we're getting specifically with Yor is this idea, at least I see it as, not only as an assassin, but as a mother. She can be a hand that connects with the future. Like, a parent is like the direct first line of defense of support for their child and safety of a child, and bringing them up into their future and them becoming whoever they're going to end up becoming, and sharing in the joy and beauty of a small person, becoming an adult person and whoever they want to be. And while also being able to give them advice, or while Anya's still younger, maybe more protective than when she's older. But we see that with Ulka and her son. With Yor, we're kind of bridging the gap between the power that you can have as a parent and a mother of protecting, and the significance of that, while also the power of an assassin. While she's protecting these two people, she's also indirectly also protecting a boatload of people, because there's a bunch of assassins on board.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, while none of them are directly trying to attack people on the boat, I doubt they would be adverse to it.
So in a way that Yor isn't necessarily, her job here or main intent isn't to protect everybody on the ship, and it's just a consequence that she is. Lloyd, I don't think, was necessarily protecting everybody on the ship. I think he was, but out of, I think, consequence. Like, I think in his mind, he's protecting himself, he's protecting Anya, and then he's also doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could be completely wrong, but I think that there's like a bit of like what ties together with what he's saying at the end of the episode. I think that subconsciously, like, that is just inherently a priority to him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right. So when he says he cast his family aside in order to do this, what I take from that is that Lloyd became a spy and still works his job for the greater good, while the difference is Yor doesn't do her job for the greater good. She does her job for specific people.
Yeah.
Because last episode we got the line, I just wanted to protect his simple life.
Right.
And so here she's doing this job for Ulka, her son, and also knowing that Anya and Lloyd are on board.
Yeah.
And Lloyd, he fully accepts as soon as Anya's like, I'm gonna go into this like kids hangout area. Lloyd's like, save everyone on the ship. And he's very aware of like the security that's there. He's very aware when they say there might be a bomb on the 8th floor, how many important dignitaries are up there, how this could mean really bad things for war, which is his main focus is to avoid war. And if these bombs look like the West made it, and then he says the line that he cast his family aside, it's like when he says that, what that's telling me is that he was prioritizing here the greater good at the cost of something he now feels weird for not prioritizing, or he feels like this something weird is happening inside of him where he's like feels guilty, or like he should have been prioritizing family, but we know that's not his mission. He's a spy. This family's a mission. It's not real. What he's doing here is he feels guilty because he feels the like care and love, like this is his family.
Like
he's like, oh, like
the
how could I do this to my
immediate
family?
response is like, oh my god, I shouldn't have turned spy on then.
Yeah.
Like I should have prioritized my family. And like I'm, I guess, prognosticating or reading a bit into that and being like, there's some subconscious piece of Lloyd there that is prioritizing his family, because even though the actions of him weren't fully dependent or prioritizing like what his job is and protecting peace and everything like that, this like split second like inner monologue that only he can hear, it comes out of a place of like, oh, this is what I should have done, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's incredible to see out of his character.
And it's also interesting that he can't quite get there in terms of realizing that this emergency was exactly what he needed to do if he was protecting his family.
Yeah.
If there are like bombs all over the ship,
there were so many bombs.
Then who cared? Anya literally was being not very well watched by that woman because she got away. But as far as Lloyd knew, Anya was in a safe place, and he had supervision. You're not a bad parent if you're dropping your kid off at like the kids center.
But if you are aware of a bomb
and you're going to disable it, you're a great parent and very talented.
But in the line of thinking, I ended up casting my family aside again. Like, if you are aware of bombs on ship and you're the most capable person, you probably would want to be around them to protect them, right? Over anything else. Like, regardless of how capable you are. Like,
but you wouldn't take your little child with you to go disable the bombs.
But would you try to evacuate first and then maybe try to help? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that he should have or would or anything like that, but like,
I think the issue with like thinking about evacuation though is evacuating that many people is gonna take.
No, I'm not talking about evacuating that many people. Okay. I'm talking about evacuating Yor and Anya.
Oh, your family.
So in reference to the line, I know it was an emergency, but I ended up casting my family aside then. So let's say, okay, even though it was an emergency, I'm not going to cast my family aside again. What would that have looked like? What would not casting your family aside here, what would that have looked like?
So if Yor was in this situation, what would she have done? You know?
Yeah, but like in terms of like Lloyd here, if he was to go the route of not casting aside his family here, and that part of him did take the front seat, would that have meant making sure Yor and Anya were safe as individuals off the ship before trying to deal with the peace?
It's like slightly possible that maybe, honestly, he doesn't know where Yor is, so that would also take time.
Yeah.
And you're not going to put a small child in a life raft by herself with no food and water. So I would say if he was thinking about putting his family first, and he gave himself a moment to think of the best and smartest plan, he probably still would have done the same thing he did in this episode.
Interesting.
Like, if he was strategically thinking, he'd be like, there's a kid-centric place right there with supervision. It would take too long to evacuate everyone. I don't know where Yor is located at the moment. I can't put Anya on a boat by herself while I disable all these bombs. We're not going to leave without Yor. Like,
I don't, like, that's so interesting because
I'm just gonna go disable all of them.
You'd only know by being in the characters' heads, but for some, and I'm probably totally off base here, but like, it's so easy for me to get into the mindset of like, okay, what would Yor want me to do? She'd want Anya to be safe. I need to make sure Anya's safe. Like, that's my priority because my family's my priority, you know?
But I feel like that would have been him truly casting his family aside. if he were willingly like gonna be like, well, I can't find Yor and I'm gonna prioritize Anya here, he'd still be casting his family aside because he'd be casting Yor aside.
That's fair. That's true. Bro, there were so many bombs. There were so many bombs. And then there was one on a clock,
like,
an antique.
What is up with that one guy crying about this antique clock? It would have blown up anyway, and people would have died. I'm pretty sure people would be okay if they knew.
You're right, but you're not that guy you're not the employee who's going to have to explain this.
To
like, what do you think it's going to look like on his end? He's going to go up to some big wig who only cares about the money. He's going to be like, dude, it wasn't even me. It was this random guy who used to be in the Navy who threw this clock off the ship and it exploded. Oh, really? Do you have anybody who else, saw what happened? No. Where's this Navy guy? Can you find him? Can he give his account? No. Like, he's fucked. This guy's fucked. Like, he's like, I don't.
So honestly, what we watched in this episode is two low-level workers risking losing their jobs.
The daycare worker, man.
No, like the kid immediately left.
What do you do if you're in that situation? Do you
cry.
are you like, okay, no, I mean on Lloyd's return, like Anya's in front of me asleep. Do I give the child back, hope the child never mentions what happened again, and go for it? Or do I try to like be upfront and are like, okay, I gotta be real with you. Anya escaped for a minute because she had to poop, and I had to find her. You know?
I think you would just hope that, unfortunately, the parents would just find whatever comes out of Anya's mouth as the musings of a child.
She's okay.
But she's like, there were bombs. Oh, yep, she's just talking about poop. Like,
I love the way that they're able to, like, manage seriousness with comedy, but also, like, ridiculous comedy. Like, the idea of Anya helping in this fight, let alone, like, just that, great. The idea of her actually managing to throwing the thorn up there, amazing. The fact that that one dude slips on it, it hurts him, fires off a gun, bounces into another dude, is the best, most ridiculous thing ever. I love it so much. But also,
like, if this was, like, a criminal case, Anya there would be charges against her. Like, she is a part of this. But there's also, like, this arc that we've had with Spy Family has really kind of shown us, more than any other content we've gotten, what the actual severity line is in terms of injury or death being shown to us. Like, there were so many deaths last episode from Yor's fight. We had Yor getting a pretty serious injury last fight. We also have these two guys and some sharks.
I thought that they'd show us the explosion, show us them getting blown back, and that's it. And I'd be like, okay, they're dead. But they showed the silhouette.
And we know they were bleeding.
Yeah.
The one guy had a bullet wound.
Yeah.
Those sharks knew where they were going. As soon as they hit the water, the sharks were like, ooh, blood. That makes sense. The sharks smelled the blood of the guy that's really good at smelling things. That was kind of the right way to kill his character. It was like the shark
equivalent of him. Yeah. I am going to scream if they wash up on shore next episode.
And they're like alive?
Yeah. And they like team together to try to get revenge on Thorn Princess.
I do like the informant character.
Me too.
I could get more of him. Hoping that he's not dead, like gone. Like, well, the sharks would go after the one that was bleeding first, so he maybe could still flip over the lifeboat. But I feel like getting into a lifeboat after you're already in the water is probably really hard.
Yeah.
But if there are sharks in the water, you'll do it if you can.
It is hard.
But I really liked his character. I found the whole idea of this guy that sets up all of these, like, hidden cameras, basically, but, like, the mics and, like, all these bombs all over the ship, but he could, like, master them to look like they're made by a certain person. Like, all the wealth of knowledge there, the people he works for.
He's a very smart character in actuality in terms of, like, okay, he's thinking about, like, this other smelly guy is all like, oh, yo, all these people are gonna die. The guests of our client are going to die. And he's like, nah, this is gonna profit him. He'll be happy in the end. That on top of having some type of connection or ability to plant at least 65 bombs in this entire ship, including one in an ancient clock in front of everybody. Like, and his character design is pretty cool. Like, I don't want him to come back, but I don't know.
I wouldn't mind him coming back as a villain character, mainly because I feel like he could be easily thwarted by Lloyd and Yor. And so I just like the idea of him being there as like, aw, shucks, I lost again. But like entertaining to me because I liked him as this informant.
I don't miss I don't miss Bond or Frankie right now. I feel like
I was like, that's not what's coming out of his mouth right now.
I think that they've done so well with this arc. I am so appreciative of it.
If they had stopped creating an anime adaptation for Spy Family after the last season and I didn't pick up the manga, I would be picking it up after this arc.
Yeah.
100%. I would have been like, Spy Family really did that? Oh my god, I need to read this. I need to see what else they will do with this family, what circumstances, what like danger, how Anya can help.
I'm trying to think what moment in the series I would have been like, okay, if this stopped right now, I'd need to like continue and read the manga or something. Obviously, we never do that in regards because we react.
And also,
to anime,
who knows if they're not? It could be 5 years before they get another season of an anime, so you can't risk it. Reading the manga.
Okay, part of me wants to say like, like episode 1, but then part of me wants to say Henry Henderson, and then I think like a real genuine side of me though, the moment that like the in that meeting with Henry where that other dude brings up the other mom and then Lloyd punches the shit out of the table because of the fly.
Oh, the fly moment?
That like
iconic.
That was a mind-blowing standout moment in this entire series for me.
My reason I would have started reading it is not as impressive or like iconic as yours. How Damien views Anya.
That was far though. It would take you late into season 1, right?
Damien being introduced into the story.
Love that, yeah.
I love romance. And I think this crush is really cute, especially because like the longevity of this character relevant to the story is great.
Yeah.
Like this kid, like we don't know how long this mission is going to actually last. And so we could be growing up with them and seeing this crush unfold even more and change. And do they develop an actual friendship? Like, how does the interactions as Lloyd gets closer to the end of his mission, how will that change Anya and Damien's dynamic? Like,
I will make a bet with you right now that I will dye my hair pink if they ever age up the characters in the show, not for a gag. I don't think that they will. No, in the idea of like, how far we're gonna see them like grow and everything. Unless it's for a gag or like just a drawing to show the fans, I never see them aging up the characters.
I don't either. I see this mission being completed not that far in the future. I would say maybe Anya gets like a little bit older, but
what if it's
one more grade or something like that.
What if it's like mission complete and then like and you see like the assignment paper and it's like complete and then it like crossfades into like Damien and Anya's wedding and it's like mission's complete. Aww. Like we're close enough in the family. Like, we've earned their trust.
See, romance is what I mean, the idea of Yor and Lloyd does make my romance heart be like, ooh.
That's all I need.
But I'm being serviced more by this just cute, funny idea of this little child having this crush and not knowing how to handle it and an oblivious other child who like doesn't understand the concept of romance, and Becky is like, dude, your dad's hot, how do you not understand romance? And Anya's like, what is love? And I really think that that's adorable, and it's fun, it's entertaining, it's lighthearted. I enjoy it. It's one of the soft parts of Spy Family that I really love, and
That's fair.
I like the contrast of having some bloody assassin fighting
There you go.
while also having some soft Spy Family content.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.